Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ari, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about zoom versus prime lenses. I'm not going to get into the technical schmechnical stuff because that is for other people to do and they do it great. That ain't me. So I'm going to give you guys just the basics on zoom lenses versus prime lenses. So there are pros and cons to both zoom lenses and prime lenses. A zoom lens is simply a lens that has a variety of focal lengths. You can get a zoom lens that kind of covers the gamut of what it is that you typically like to record. Sometimes they are very expensive lenses, but if you get a really good zoom lens that can cover everything that you think you'll need as a creator, then you're golden. You don't ever need to invest in another lens. Unless of course something happens to that lens, but that's neither here nor there. That also helps because when you're traveling, you don't have to worry about packing multiple lenses or deciding which one you're gonna bring and sacrificing and who's the survivor, who gets to come, who is staying on the island. You don't have to think about any of that because you have one lens that does everything. The versatility. So again, because you have that wide range of focal lengths, you have a very versatile lens on your hands with a zoom lens because you can go from usually very wide angle to very tight, narrow. Ease of use is another thing that people probably think about when they think about zoom lenses. You don't necessarily have to move a lot when you're using a zoom lens. You can just use the lens to do all the work. You usually don't get the same level of aperture when you are using a zoom lens. The aperture is just the amount of light that the camera lets in. It doesn't necessarily matter too much if you're doing talking head, like sit down, very controlled environment where you control the lighting. Then it's not that big of a deal. But if you are out and about, it can be annoying when you don't have as much ability to let in more light into that lens. You know that saying, jack of all trades, master of none? That's kind of what a zoom lens is. It does a lot of things, but it doesn't do anything particularly great. So now let's talk about prime lenses. Prime lenses are lenses that are one set focal length. So you get what you get and you don't get upset. Now the benefit to that is that they're really good at what they are made for. They also usually have better low light capabilities relative to their zoom lens counterparts. So it does make it a little bit easier if you're shooting in low light environments. They're very sharp, they're very precise, they're very fast too. So these prime lenses are built for one specific thing, which is why they're very good at that one specific thing. Now I will say there are definitely some cons to prime lenses. Depending on what you do, you will likely have to invest in multiple prime lenses in order to get that range of shooting that you need to accomplish. And that can get expensive. Another thing that, depending on how you look at it, might be a pro or a con, but it forces you to be more creative when it comes to shooting video. Not necessarily talking head video because this is very easy. You set up the camera, it is in one place, it doesn't move. I don't move. But if you're out there shooting, sports, or you're shooting kids, or you're shooting wildlife, you actually have to get closer or further away from the subject. So you have to move, you have to think, you have to figure out, where you want to be relative to the subject that you're shooting. It can be a little bit more difficult to travel when you're using prime lenses because you have to pick and choose which ones you're going to bring with you and which ones you're going to use. And it can also be a hassle taking that lens off of the camera, swapping it out with another one. Sometimes you miss what you were trying to shoot because you were so busy trying to change the lens. You actually run the risk of more dirt and debris getting into the camera body and the lens itself when you are constantly switching lenses. So just something to think about from a maintenance standpoint. So that is my quick take on prime lenses versus zoom lenses. Hopefully this was informative, and don't forget to check out the next video.